This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy. He's here.
It's Tuesday, May the 19th, 2015, and this is your Barbados Today Morning News Update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. We begin with news that the island's Chief Justice will soon be on civil trial in his own court. In an unprecedented move, a lawsuit has been filed against Chief Justice Marston Gibson by a senior lawyer. Vernon Smith QC filed the suit late last week, claiming that Sir Marston refused to allow him to represent his client Brantley Consulting Services, a company owned by former Clico boss Leroy Paris, on April the 14th on the grounds that he, Smith, had not paid his annual subscription to the Barbados Bar Association. Smith says the CJ's action constitutes a disbarment without due process and is a serious breach of his legal, constitutional, fundamental and human rights. The veteran lawyer is therefore seeking a written undertaking that the Chief Justice will not at any time without due process disbar him from representing clients, that he submits a written apology for his action, and that he states the sum of money he is prepared to pay for breaching his rights. After more than a year of waiting, hearings before the reconstituted Employment Rights Tribunal will finally start tomorrow. However, the much-publicized retrenchment of the more than 200 National Conservation Commission workers will not be the first case to be heard. Chairman Hal Gollop QC tells Barbados Today the controversial NCC matter will nevertheless be a priority. Gollop said the tribunal will focus on one case initially and thereafter set up 3 committees to hear matters simultaneously. He explained that the proceedings will operate similar to those of a law court, with opening statements by the complainant, followed by examination and cross-examination of persons from both sides. The hearings are open to the public and are being held in the Ministry of Labour Warrants Office complex from 2 p.m. Waste haulers and movers are warning that the contentious tipping fee is too high a cost for the country to pay. The private operators who are dead set against the government's new garbage disposal fee say it has come at too high a price not only for them but the entire country and is therefore unsustainable. Over the weekend, the group also warned that the new tax would significantly impact on the operating costs within many economic sectors, including construction, manufacturing, retail, distribution, and food processing. Spokesman Charles Reed said that, for example, site clearing and foundation costs could add as much as $15,000.
So if you build a house for $100,000, that would be a 50% increase. A fast food chain, for example, and we're talking about multiple locations, could see an additional cost to their company of $600,000. Retail businesses with multiple outlets, based on estimate volumes of waste disposed, you could see costs going up by $10,000 per outlet. The quantum value of this fee, from our understanding, is $9 million per year, which the private sector is expected to prepay, bill our customers and collect within the standard credit terms. So we are essentially introducing $9 million into our working capital cycles, and we need to manage that. $9 million, it's a lot of money. Operators, and we're talking about us here, will outlay between $2,000 and $15,000 per week managing this tipping fee.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially
Turning now to the regional scene, a high-powered team of experts has gone to the scene of the tragic mining accident in Guyana to investigate it. The Ghana Gold and Diamond Miners Association yesterday dispatched a team to the area to probe the fatal accident, which occurred on Sunday and may have claimed as many as 11 lives. The association said it is deeply saddened by this tragic accident and will take all the necessary steps to fully investigate the cause. A statement said that the team will inspect the area and monitor the rescue effort that was underway. Trinidad and Tobago's Water and Sewerage Authority may have to pay out millions of dollars owed to 3 former senior employees whose contracts came to an abrupt end in 2009, and another employee who said he was forced to resign after his co-workers' contracts were not renewed. In a 19-page judgment at the Hall of Justice in Port of Spain, Justice Frank Sepersad ordered WASA and dismissed employees to come together and calculate the amount to be paid to the workers. In the event the sums cannot be agreed upon, the judge ordered the relevant information be provided to the court to determine the amount due to the claimants. WASA has 14 days to appeal the ruling. Further afield now, 2 decades of U.S. data shows suicides by young children are rare, and the low rate has held mostly stable, except for a troubling increase among black boys. The study revealed that from 1993 through 2012, there were 657 suicides among children aged 5 through 11. Most were 10 or 11. In the last decade, there was only 1 suicide in a 5-year-old. The rate during the year's study was just over 1 per million children. But for black boys, it edged up from less than 2 per million to almost 3.5 per million. There was a slight decline among white. The study authors said black kids may experience more violence, stress, or school discipline than whites, and are less likely to seek help for depression and other difficulties. But whether those factors explain the results is not known. And finally, President Barack Obama has banned the U.S. government from giving certain kinds of military-styled equipment to local police forces. The announcement follows criticism that police were too heavy-handed in dealing with the protests in Ferguson, Missouri that turned violent last summer. It means armored vehicles on tracks, camouflage uniforms, and grenade launchers will no longer be given out. Tensions between police and African-American communities are strained. A series of fatal shootings by police have increased mistrust and sparked protests across the U.S.
You know, we've seen how militarized gear can sometimes give people a feeling like there's an occupying force as opposed to a force that's part of the community that's protecting them and serving them. Can alienate and intimidate local residents and send the wrong message. So we're going to prohibit some equipment made for the battlefield that is not appropriate for local police departments. A lot of the issues that have been raised here and in places like Baltimore and Ferguson and New York goes beyond policing. We can't ask the police to contain and control problems that the rest of us aren't willing to face or do anything about.
And on that note, we end our Barbados Today morning news update. However, you can join us again this afternoon. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper and email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on iZoom Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune in to Channel 101 on Lime TV and Mix 96.9 FM. to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.
This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy. He's here.